So we are back with the DPL podcast, and it's pretty late, within our usual times, but it allows us to speak to a very interesting person. I'm Mr. Donut. I'm here with Zombie Bacon, my co-host. How you doing, Zombie?
Podcast after dark. Let's go.
Podcast after we're gonna drink so much. Let's go.
That's what we didn't actually tell you is our guest today, Axsom, is actually a raging alcoholic,
Oh
and that's
no,
why it had to be at night.
no.
This is exactly why we waited this long, so I'm not drinking on hours, I'm drinking after hours.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Big brain, big brain.
Oh, well, hello everyone. We are here with one of the employees at GEC, Giant Enemy Crab, the people who summoned due process from the underworld. Axsom, you make maps. How you doing?
I am not drunk enough for this, so let me expedite this process.
Expedite the process.
Shout out to
Man, it's
Jameson.
just been like I feel like we're going like all the way through the GEC employees now. It's a lot of fun, but there's like a lot of y'all that I didn't know existed because I'm stupid. So that's just like I knew like Axum exists because maps are like one of the favorite things for people to complain about, and simultaneously also like one of the largest selling points of the game. And then I didn't know who Bard was for a while.
Wait, what?
I
The
had
whole
no clue. Yeah.
the whole game is like his baby. It's like it spawned from like it's all him, man. You're going, hey, who the fuck made this game? Bard? Who's that?
I was like Bard. I was like they have like D&D classes over at GEC. Is that like instead of
Oh no.
titles they have classes?
Yeah. If Bard was, Bard would be a interesting DM. Holy shit. But today we're gonna be going over some very interesting topics, mainly about maps. Um, but before we get onto all that, Axum, some people might not know what you do. So give us a brief introduction of what you do, how you got stuck with this game for the
Talk
best way
with
to
the
say it.
game with.
You may just start at the beginning and
Let's start at the
how we got
beginning.
from point A to point fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
History lesson.
okay, so like back in 2014, well, prior to that, I met Vince playing World of Warcraft. I was recruited into a guild to replace him as a priest. Several months later, he came back, and we both played priest, so we became friends. After the guild fell apart, we continued to play games over the years. Like we met in high school. So uh, fast forward to 2014, and he's like, "Hey, you want to help test my shitty game?" And I was like, "I'd love to help test your shitty game," and that was Block Dude build. So I helped test their shitty game. They went to PAX West. I offered to help. They accepted my help, so I flew out there and helped them. And every other convention that they went to, I flew myself out there to give them a hand because it was a lot of fun for me. Eventually, once they're able to hire me, they hired me as QA/community manager because I'd basically been doing the role, for years unofficially. Um, as QA, I taught myself Unity, learned the level generator, and moved up to where I am now.
Making maps.
And
Wait,
yes, I am now
you had to fly
making.
yourself out?
Huh?
You had to fly yourself out to these?
Yeah, I
They
mean,
didn't fly you out? Or like
they
Annapurna
did,
didn't fly you
we
guys
didn't have
out?
we didn't have money at that point. Like I flew myself out.
Yeah, Donna is confused at people like doing things themselves. He's like, I would never. Do you? Donna does.
You are one
It was
to be
it was a lot of fun for me.
Apprehension of
Like
the world.
it
Yeah.
was it was something to look forward to because we went in 2014, 2015, 2016, and like every time I flew myself out there, and it was a shitload of fun.
What were those early years like? Like moving up, like what was it like moving up from block build and kind of doing, QA stuff for them? Like what was that experience like with the game, and what was the progression going from that to where we see it now in this kind of
So
more
here,
so polished
let's
state? Yeah.
yeah. So like let's start at what PAX was like in 2014 to give you an example of kind of where we were. In PAX 2014, we were the most ghetto LAN party in the show floor. So like we went and asked a whole bunch of our friends, "Hey, can we borrow your computer for our booth at PAX?" So we had this like weird like amalgamation of computers from that ranged from like top end Alienware slash like this is clearly somebody who's got a lot of money to like some dude's mom's HP computer, and we land them all together, and it was this like the lowest end couldn't even run the game at 1080p. Like we had to scale it down to 720 in order for it to run properly, but we got it all lined up, and it was just all these computers of different shapes and sizes up on floor 6, and it was ghetto as fuck. We had the server was up and we were fixing bugs in real time as people found, like, people were playing and they found something. They'd be like,
Oh my
"Hey,
god.
is this supposed to happen?" And fucking Bard was sitting there on the server machine. He would fix the code in real time, push out a new build to everybody, and then that was it. Like, it was so hacky and ghetto, but it was a lot of fun. I
Apparently,
knew we
like,
had something special though, because despite all of this, while we were on floor 6, people would stop and watch the game. Like, we had a big, huge TV up that was showing the map screen, and then like we were spectating the player 1 on the Alienware rig, and people would stop and form big crowds to the point where the mods, or not the mods, but the enforcers for PAX would have to be like, "Hey, you guys need to break this up. You're blocking the alleyway." But the moment that really sold it was when we had 2 Evo shoutcasters walk by and started shoutcasting the game live on the show floor unprompted. That was so much fucking fun, and they were there for like an hour. It was so fun.
damn. Well, that
But
would be nice if they could stick around.
oh yeah, but fast forward to
Donut.
what kind of when I started doing QA, but when Annapurna picked us up, like suddenly we had a real booth. All of our computers were the same. All of our all the hardware was the same. All of the uh, everything was set up for us. Like, we didn't have to go there super early and wire all of the things, set up all the lights, set up. It was all taken care of for us. All we had to do was show up, put the build on put the build on the computers, put the server on one of the machines, and just go. So like the difference between where we were to where we are now in terms of like how we showed at PAX is a pretty big indicator of where we are kind of as a company underneath that, where we went from this really like ghetto, like we're just like a bunch of students trying to hold this together, to, oh hey, we actually, no, we're being professional about this.
So
That's
Annapurna seemed to be like a really big stepping like stone in the right direction for like what you guys doing at PAX and everything. So
Yeah, like it was
yeah.
when we started being able to hire more people and grow the team so we could achieve the the game that we always wanted to make.
mhm.
Yeah, Annapurna gets a lot of, they get a lot of flack for, they're the reason that Blood's out, or Blue Build, or a lot of that, but they did a lot, they put a lot of,
I don't know about any of that.
really,
I,
ooh,
I feel like tons of
That's
that
not
too
my
is just
realm.
like yeah, I feel like a lot of that too sometimes is just like people are like they look for
things to be mad about.
yeah, you know, the community.
It's the community.
People will always find things to be angry about, and that's okay. It just means you care.
Sometimes they care too much.
Or they need to go to
But that's
therapy.
still okay. Oh no.
Oh, but so Axel, you've been now making maps for the game for a little over 3 years, around that area.
It's around the 3-year mark.
Yeah, and you've had your impact on the game, and in both a sense of and of creating a lot of the maps that people really love, and creating some of the maps that people really don't. So kind of run us through like your process of, you know, making a map. You also were a big part of like the early stages of Bank and the entirety, no, the entirety of Bank and the early stages of Dome. So kind of just run us through that.
Where would you like me to begin?
Let's start at the first three. Factory, Kill House, C-Store.
So I had nothing to do with any of those. The first 2 were already done, and Factory was like mid-development when I started working there. Um, when I was learning how to use the level generator and make objects for the level generator, I was making stuff for Factory, but all of the things that I made are no longer in the game. Um, originally, I made things called ops offices. So if you do an at Maelstrom and DPO and ask Maelstrom about ops offices, he'll fucking fawn over them. Ops offices were basically 2-floor offices where there was a floor on the bottom and a floor on the top. So don't think about when you're thinking about these, don't think about the offices that you know now where it's like the big cargo containers. These are actually fully fledged rooms with like a different top floor than there was a bottom floor, and they were connected by a big staircase. Sometimes on the outside of the building, sometimes on the inside of the building, and they were all different shapes. But I realized quickly that um, 2-floor was never going to work because we couldn't render it properly, and B, the guy who was making maps at the time, uh, wasn't using these things the way I intended them to. Like I'd be like, oh, I made this office to go in a corner, and they like weren't being used in a corner. Be like, oh, you're supposed to put it up against a wall like this, and they weren't doing it like that. So I was like, well, what if I just make these maps and use them as they're supposed to be? Oh, hey, look, they're way better now. And that was kind of, it was almost like I got into making maps out of spite. It was like, hey, you're not using my thing right. Stop that.
Yeah, use it right, goddammit. This is how you do your job.
This is my vision.
I don't know if I'd say it that far. Like he was still making maps and doing the right things. It was like, it was just I was seeing my assets being used in a way that I hadn't. Like I was like, I made it for this, but it's not being used in that way. Okay, which is funny because that's basically what the artists say about what I do with their art now.
It's a very similar.
Yep, it's
a
a
similar
it's
thing we've heard echoed.
It's the fucking snake eating its own tail.
Mm-hmm. You have become what you sought to destroy.
Yep. I was supposed to bring balance to level gen, not destroy it.
You were the chosen one.
The chosen one.
When did you lose the high ground? Just here out of curiosity, because you talked about not being able to gen this like these 2-story offices, and are there plans, or is that something you'd like to go back to? Because you talk about it very fondly, and it sounds like definitely a very cool idea, at least to me. Is that something you hope to work back towards, or?
So that has to come from the UI, like the UI side of things and the engineering side
Okay.
of things, not level gen, because I know Donut's seen it. Like I can already generate 2-floor structures in level gen, and it's not even a problem. The main issue is getting it to render on the map screen and do it properly, so that when the players use it, it's easily understandable and intuitive, instead of this like, okay, you have to hit spacebar to toggle between floors, and then you hit this button to toggle between sat view and world view. Like there's a lot of setup on our end that has to go into making the 2F map screen work properly. And there's so many edge cases of like, oh well, just rent anything that's higher than this height, like just make invisible on the 2F thing. But like, what if it's an object that spans two floors, like the I'm looking at them right now and I can't. The silos on factory, how they're they go from floor 1 all the way up to like the floor 3 marker. Like
Yeah.
how would you render that on a map? Like you'd have to like remake the art to cut it in half at that one spot so it renders on floor 1, floor 2, that kind of shit. So like it's a really big undertaking, but I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like it would be worth it, but it would need to be used very intentionally. We couldn't just like throw 2F stuff everywhere, or else it would overwhelm the player. Because we discovered that very early on when we started experimenting with 2F. Like I did the blog post on my own 2-floor maps that I made, and it's like it was so easy to just get lost because you couldn't, like when you're looking at the map screen and you're trying to absorb, like just picture a C-store in your mind's eye and be like, okay, the map has been opened. It's the first time I've seen it. I can usually make a plan on this in under a minute, right? Like you can absorb the information that you're looking at and be able to go, okay, if I do this, here's the consequences of my actions. But in a when you add the third dimension into that, where you have to start planning not only in the first, now you're playing on the X, Y, and Z axis instead of just the previous two. That level of complexity, your brain has a hard time wrapping itself around. So, like, how do I get you to understand a three-dimensional space like that in under a minute? Like, the rooms would have to be dead simple in order for that to happen, like a minimal complexity.
Because there's a lot of people, and they were just in chat, but they were like Clubhouse, and this and that, and like, I understood Clubhouse, but it's like you've been playing the game for how long?
Clubhouse isn't 2-floor though. Clubhouse
So
is
it's like
level
1.5?
like factory. Like here, I'll let you. I know I've said this on a Boosty stream before, but I'll let you in on a little secret. Clubhouse is just a reskinned factory. Look at the rooms that you're playing in and compare it to factory, and you'll find that they're almost all the same. Like the office in there is just office and factory without the big huge window. Actually, it does have a big huge window. Like it's just a reskinned factory, my guys. The only thing that's different is the The security room, like that was the basis of Clubhouse, was that
Hmm.
security room where it's like an interior space on the bottom and an exterior space on the top. That's how the whole thing started.
Because I remember I was talking to some people, and I won't name them to call them out, but they were like, "Clubhouse is so great. This is so good." And this was, I think, a few weeks before you said that Clubhouse is just a reskin factory, and they were like, "I understood it. Why can't they bring it back?" And I'm just like, you played that when you had like 500, 600 games and had people who understood the game, at a very good level. You throw like a level 2 at a Clubhouse or like one of those 2 floor, well, just any 2 floor type map. Jeez, that will be. I, I don't know how to. That will be an issue,
Yeah,
so to
like
say.
again, like Clubhouse wasn't a 2-floor map. I know it felt like it, but it really wasn't. The only room that was actually had a 2-floor thing going on was that security room because there was a different top than there was a bottom, and that was the only room that did that. Like that's the definition of 2F to me.
Yeah,
If there's not a room where there's a space on the bottom and a space on the top, it's split level, and that's factory.
yeah. I mean, we kind of get out of the original 3. Let's talk about due processes. I would say one of the more controversial like tile sets, and that's Dome. You had a pretty big hand on the early stages of Dome, so kind of walk us through like starting out Dome, your vision of it, and then how it ended up.
So like what I wanted to do with Dome was give us a space to explore shapes and environments that we couldn't explore due to the way our game works. So if we wanted a literally, if we wanted to do a gunfight in a jungle, we couldn't because, well, UAV needs to exist. There's no way we could have a forest firefight because of the way our game is set up. So I wanted to be like, okay, let's try to like give this some like Legends of the Hidden Temple vibes and give us a space where we could have fucking pirate ship fights and Old West shootouts and desert shootouts, and like I wanted to have a space where we could explore the absurd and get away with it under the guise of it being a game show. I wanted some more like game showy elements to it that we never actually quite got to. So things like one of the room ideas that I had that I thought might have been fun as a side room was a room where you can shoot the cover and the cover has health. And after you shoot the cover, it goes down into the floor, and then after like 30 seconds, pops back up. So like if you see a guy behind cover, you can just shoot at it. You can shoot at it a whole bunch to force him out of his spawn. But at that point, you probably have to reload. So better swap to your pistol and kill him, or vice versa, shoot it with the pistol and swap to your other gun. That kind of shit. Just like more game showy. Like that is one of the things that I miss that we didn't end up getting to explore that much.
For lack of a better term, almost gimmicky in a way.
A little bit.
Like just really moving away from the I guess the tactical shooter nature of the game some people like to talk about, and really pushing into that very, very kind of crazy almost.
A little bit, but not
Hmm.
like not all the way. So
Hmm.
the vision for level gen for me has always been that each tile set has something that won't change in it. So like you look at storefront is always like it's always there. Factory, the big open empty spaces are always there. In bank, like the lobby is always there. So now imagine with me that the rest of the rooms that can spawn are sometimes rooms. So like you think about um excuse me, Kill House is the best example of this. So Kill House has a bunch of things that we call alpha tiles, and you're going to know them as I start listing them. You're going to have lumberyard, breezeway, parking garage. So all of those big rooms that kind of define the level. You only get one of those, but there's like 6 total options for to pick from, and then it moves on to another step, which is to say the filler rooms. There's 6 filler rooms, but it only picks 4 of them. So you get this nice mix of stuff. I wanted uh, Dome to kind of be the same way, where it would have this one big main room like jungle, and then it would pick a bunch of supporting side rooms like castle or observation, and there'd be like 6 or 7 of these things for it to pick from. So you'd always have like the main central theme of the level, again like don't like excuse me not dome like jungle or beach, and then you'd have a variety of supporting subrooms to kind of help define the experience of that level. But we didn't quite end up there. Uh, I have thoughts on how to get around that, but nothing to really share too in detail because we haven't like it's all just stuff I've thought about. It hasn't been stuff we've discussed as a team.
You know, still on the topic of Dome, I kind of wanted to ask this question about the exterior windows. How, like, your thoughts on them, how that goes into you making the map.
I pretend they don't exist.
You pretend they don't exist.
I pretend they don't exist, and the only time I'm reminded of them is when I place exterior doors, and then I put the little blockers up so you can't just look inside prior to breach.
That's actually really good to know. If you just don't like an issue in the map, just forget about it. You don't like the parking garage? You'll be fine.
No, I mean that's not like that's a
Yeah, and
those two aren't comparable because
yeah,
like
that's in a joking sense.
it's ignoring an entire room versus like they're just going to be able to see into this whole level. I kind of have to accept that because it's what's going to happen. Like the only way we could get around this is like I don't know. Like I still wish we had done like the polarized glass where if you're like a certain distance away it just glosses over because of all the lights. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah,
there's so much light as you back up it just turns into this like solid white thing and you can't really see them that well. But we never actually got to employ a kind of a solution like that. But I mean, thematically, like that was a call from Bard. Like he wanted it, so like, well, why would you have this game show if you all you're looking at is just a box and looking at a big jumbotron? Like you want to be able to look into the level and see the action. Okay, that's why they're there. Is
yeah.
for the like thematic justification. Because originally that background scene was actually for Kill House, and the idea was that you would look. Kill House was only one floor and it had the graded ceiling, so you could just look in from above, and that made sense that way. But as soon as we wanted Dome to be this 2F space, uh, actually it's more than that. I think Dome can technically support up to like 4 floors, like if we wanted to get really wild and crazy. Because you think of like the height difference between the bottom of D-Day, which is ground level, all the way up to like the top of Ruins. That's like 3 floors right there.
That'd be fun. Like just a giant tower of a map.
Yeah.
Be hell to like design and plan on, but maybe
So
playing
like
through it would be something.
like one of the things that I would change if I had the power and resources would be to make it so that uh, the D-Day tile, so beach plus base combo, is actually a main room like jungle, and they're mutually exclusive. So you only get one, but this would mean that base and beach would actually get bigger, and they would be, they would have more of an identity, and probably have another like sub room in there to help. Like maybe there's a really big bunker somewhere in the back. So like you've crested beach, which is now way longer, but now you have to deal with the people in the trenches and the big bunker in the back. How do you do that? I don't know. Maybe you have to use the supporting rooms to help you get to that. I don't know, but uh, just the combo of ruin like jungle plus D-Day is just absolutely enormous. Like you end up with these like 40 tile ranges, which is way too big. When most guns like stop functioning past like what 20, unless you're using a saber or a mop.
Yeah, and so then you just have those dominating, like
Yeah.
sniper battles, and at that point, just you hoping for the attackers to run at the bomb. Talking about new tile sets, and what a great transition this is. Bank, one of you, you said it's your baby. Like this is a map that
Yeah.
you had a lot of kind of stake in, and it releasing around almost 2-3 weeks ago. It was a pretty big update, and so I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on Bank. The design process going through it, the intent. Really, just you talking about what Bank is.
So like we started developing Bank right at like basically the week of Dome coming out was we sat down and we talked about what are some tile sets we can make because we want another one to kind of round out the sets so it feels different each time. Like 5 to 6 felt like the right number for us to like this is what we should consider like a baseline. Um, so when we were talking about tile sets, it's like, well, we want to make this thing faster than we made Dome because Dome took a very long time to create, and that's fine. But we wanted to do it faster, so it was like, okay, well, what is a what's a tile set we could do quickly? So we came up with a bunch of ideas, and it's like, well, if we could do bank, we already know vault works because the vault had been in the alpha room mix for kill house for a while. Because I mean, y'all had been testing vault kill houses for months at that point, and we knew it was fun and we knew it worked. So it's like, hey, let's just do that. We know the central concept of this level will work, and it'll help it uh, stand out from the other levels because now it has this like two objective system. So when you're playing bank, it's like, okay, we have to get to the button and then we have to get to the vault. So it kind of encourages split pushing in the way that you don't necessarily see as often in other tile sets because you can just death ball. But bank as a whole, you can still kind of death ball and you can make it work if you think about it.
That's actually interesting because I feel like at least a lot of the teams that I talk to, um, right now they're still figuring out bank, and so I feel like the default is actually just to death ball
Yep.
more so than other map sets. And it's hard because bank for me is one of the absolutely hands down the most fun tile sets to play.
I
Like
appreciate that.
absolutely, it's seriously it's one of my favorites. Like I think Bacon Dome. I know people are probably gonna hate that because I think competitively people take their issue with it, but I feel like Bacon Dome as a just like whenever that's there, it's always there's such fun maps to be on and look at. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the
And
art team
so
did a kick-ass job.
yeah, and I mean it's awesome. And so it's interesting though is you're bringing up the idea of test like Kill House being sort of this testing ground, right? With the vault. Um is that how you guys view Kill House, is to be like, okay, let's get experimental with it versus some of the other tile sets? And how do you feel that the testing of vault on Kill House shaped bank? Was it only in like, okay, this vault's fun, or is it like, did you come to this realization that like, oh, we don't want like a vault smack dab in the middle of the map because that's not what people like, but prefer it off on the sides? Because at least with the banks I've seen, they've all been sort of vault on corner of like bottom right, top left kind of thing.
It can be in the middle, but I leave it up to level gen now.
Yeah.
With Kill House, it always spawned first, thus it was always in the center of the level. With Bank, that's not the case. It actually spawns. Remember how I said that it runs in passes? So there's the lobby pass, which includes entrance, lobby, security, and then tellers, and then everything after that is random. So sometimes Vault will spawn early and it can be in the center of the level. Other times it will spawn late and be in the on the exteriors. It tends to spawn later. Uh, that's just what level gen's given us right now. Like it, I always prefer to put things in the hands of level gen if I can, rather than being like, no, you're always here, or I get mad. But yeah, sorry, having a brain fart.
Wait,
No, it's all good. That answers that really well. But like,
Okay, cool.
you talked about the testing of Vault on Kill House. Is Kill House like an experimental tile set for you? Like, is that how you view it? Or and also, if it is or it isn't, how did the testing of Vault on Kill House shape the way you approached Bank?
So Kill House, I definitely view as the experimental tile set. Um, I, I mean, that's where I started making a lot of my weird shit when I first started like actually making levels. Um, it's definitely like because it's like it's already supposed to be this like training simulation of some other thing. It's really easy for us to just be like, oh hey, by the way guys, this week we're throwing in something that looks a lawful lot like a subway a subway like landing area. You know what I mean? Like a subway terminal. Like it's really easy for us to chuck that in there because we can just make it out of wood and other bullshit, and it looks right at home in Kill House. And it's not something we could really do in, I don't know, Dome, because it's all wild and extravagant and you would need a lot of really good looking props and the artist would have to spend a lot of time making this cool thing that might not even be fun. So with Kill House we can just throw some cheap shit in there and it looks fine and we can get the gameplay tests out of it that we need.
Mm.
um as for how much did Kill House Vault inspire Bank Vault, um I gotta think about this one. Actually not much. I all I knew going into Bank was that it needed a vault, and I wanted it to have to be kind of like Hill House, in that I wanted there to be rooms that were very obviously for certain engagement ranges. So I knew there needed to be a lobby. You look at any bank and it's got a big open lobby. Like I pulled a lot of inspiration from Big Bank on Payday, is where I pulled a lot of inspiration from. Like if you look at the manager's office in Due Process, and then look at the manager's office over in Big Bank uh, on Payday 2, the inspiration should be very obvious.
Mhm.
But beyond that, like for me, it was just kind of feeling it out. Like what felt right as I started making rooms. Like the original version of Lobby was actually it was all bulletproof glass, and the man traps are actually, so basically imagine the entryway, but it's actually security. It's got glass, bulletproof glass everywhere with man traps leading into the lobby. That was original Lobby. Excuse me.
Okay.
I scrapped that and of course turned it into security, and then Lobby became this like open, very open sniper fest. Uh, Another room that we had, so accounting managers was always a thing, where you had the window and the door kind of looking into accounting, with how these two rooms are basically married and never leave each other. But there was actually the Yoda. There is another. There was one room that we had initially that I trashed, was a server room that was
That was my favorite room.
It was a permadark room that had no lights in it,
I remember
and
that. Yeah.
yeah, it was attached to accounting and had like windows you could shoot out between the two, so you could kind of like bathe yourself in darkness by hiding in the back of the room and shooting out into accounting. But um, I ultimately ditched it because it just kind of overcomplicated that space and made the sight lines really, really unpredictable. And it was like, well, I really wanted accounting to be the CQC space because it's just an office full of cubicles. But when I was making it, I'm like, well, I don't want this to just be another office, because all of our tile sets have a fucking office in it, with the exception of Dome. Like, there's this office in C Store, there's an office in Kill House, and there's an office in Factory, and all three of those kind of felt the same. It's just chuck shit in a room and call it a day. But with Bank, I was like, I really wanted that space to be like, no, this is CQB cubicle hell.
Mm.
So I mean, that's kind of what I set out to do. You've got your little divider path, which is the like, okay, here's your safe path, your quote unquote safe path through the room. But as soon as you exit that little divider, now you're in the you're in the CQC jungle, fucking lion's den, where the tubs are just gonna shoot you in the face.
You
I love the
literally
tubs.
you gave Chrome and Argo and all of them just their own little room.
I can
mean,
never forgive you.
I mean, that was literally the point. Like, I wanted a place for the, like, in my head, I was like, I want a place for the knacks and the shotguns to play, and that's why accounting exists. Like, I remember during testing, um, it wasn't CQB enough, even though it was already close quarters. So I had to tighten it up even more to get the kind of that almost maze-like feeling, to be like, okay, well, do I want to throw a flash around this corner because I think there's a tub hiding in that nook, or do I want to just like go for it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you either
Yeah.
have to do you pray, or do you try and possibly waste the utility?
Yep. But like the other thing I wanted to do with that space, well, like with Bank as a whole, again, I wanted a space for every weapon type to play. So I wanted long range, medium range, and close range engagement spaces. But I wanted it to be up to level gen. So like there's some accounting gens where long range is actually really good, because you can like open a door and see out into lobby. But there's other ones where it's just CQC hell. The same can be said for the hallway plus loans combo. Like sometimes you get these really jagged hallway shapes that don't really have, clear long sniper lanes for a mop or a saber. And then there's other ones where it's just a straight line, and the implications here are very obvious.
I wonder what you're gonna do.
Yeah. And just wait until like the cart and the shield come back, because it's gonna get way crazier.
Oh God! Everyone talks about Cart and Shield. Everyone talks about Cart. What are you, an alpha player, Axsom? Come on.
Dude,
I thought you were better than this.
they're so good.
They're
I miss
so
them.
good.
I miss them. Like a
You
lot of
sound like Red.
well, it's like
Yeah.
a lot of the issues that both teams kind of currently suffer from, or well, I don't know about the defenders, but like for attackers, like a lot of their problems end up being solved by shield. Like imagine all the times it's been annoying to push down a long hallway because you can't get the guy behind the counter, right? Like this could apply to club, this could apply to hallway. This could apply to ruins or observation. Like shield solves that because you just slowly walk forward with the shield, and they have to either rush towards you to try to get behind you and kill you, send another guy around to flank you, or hit you with a Molotov. They can't kill you by just aiming their way through this problem. There's a guy with a shield looking at you. So like a long hallway is easily defeated by shield. Similarly, green door entrances, green door main entrance for bank could come back because now you can just open up the main door, stick a shield on the way, and he can make callouts, and he's immune to threat.
I'm so excited for like cart because I'm dog shit at aiming and like playing this game, and so like my teammates can just sit me on this thing and be like, all right, if you see someone, shoot them, and that's it, you know, and I
You
can't
don't
let
even
them
need to
down.
see him to kill him. It's great. Just
Yeah,
wait till you
it's
play
great.
that thing on Kill House and you can pen walls.
Oh fuck, you gonna put that like back
Go
to
back
one of
to
the
the
exterior
wall pen.
walls? Yeah.
Back to the wall pen meta.
Yep.
Oh man.
I mean, you're just like, I'm going to stick cart right here because it can cover bomb and the green door over there. So I'm just going to sit right here, and this is my life now. And as soon as you hear that fucking door kick, you unload and get a double kill, and you're just like, I am the new commander.
I look at me. I am the commander now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think we're gonna throw it over now to, and this is gonna be my favorite part of this as a player. I think we're gonna actually pull up some maps here, and we're
Let's do
gonna
it.
go through them with you.
Some of them you made, some of them you didn't. So
They're all trash. That's the answer.
They they're all trash.
this is the first one, Vox Lion. This is a DPL map from, it seems to be season
This was
2.
season 2. Yeah, because you
Yeah.
got momentum. You got momentum and BTG. Rest in peace.
Oh my
All the
gosh.
#1 Curva. So I remember this map. I remember not liking this map.
Why didn't you like this map?
I didn't like this map because I didn't particularly like it. Just basically like it's a hill climb. You know what I mean? Like I really like the more dynamic, what I consider dynamic kill houses where bomb is in sort of a central location that is easy to be accessed. And here it just feels there's like no point in doing anything besides blowing a door here. Like I remember watching this map all the time. If you didn't have a charge here for like club or brick house, if you went club, you generally just got domed. And as we see, we do see that momentum we're able to make it through because they had Euro ping. But
I also had like
I-
Voxel going
So
ham, so
the
Yeah.
problem with this map is it needs one more room,
yes,
and then it would have been fine. Like it straight up needs like, imagine there being a room to the left of parking garage and club in that little nook where the red door is, and then it would have been fine because then you could have safely moved bomb down into like put it on top of stage and had a great time. Because then you could have done plays like take parking garage, immediately swing north into kitchen, then wall charge onto the stage, the kitchen, or some shit like that, right? Like there's just not enough possibility space to be able to be like, yeah, I'm gonna put bomb in club because that's kind of where
yeah.
you want it. Like you said, the kill house maps tend to play better when there's central bomb because they offer attackers a wide possibility space and how to get to the objective. But when it's kind of buried in a corner, it's like, well, it's just an uphill slog the entire way, boys.
Well, and also this, I remember hating this brick house red door here because you have to run straight down, and you basically just it was always so hard to take that. You either had to expend all your flashes into a singular room and probably still get mollied. Just because I don't know if people can tell on the stream, but it's entirely blocked off here, and you can shoot over it's like a half wall there with the cinder blocks.
Yeah, there's two half walls. I can see them, one right by the red door, then another a little further down by the exit.
Yeah.
Basically, where there's planks are kind of like hanging over, like the two vertical planks. Those are both hanging over lines of sight, like little crouch height window things.
I got fucked on this map a lot. Like
Yeah.
man, I just got taken to town. No prep, no nothing.
Yeah, if it had one more room, it would have been fine. Like if again, I think it should have been like to the left of parking lot and club, like slap a lockers right in there, and this would have been fine.
Do you have any thoughts about this map that you'd like to share?
this map is, I don't like these maps because it's like, all right, do you want to go into a red door that if you touch it, you're gonna get beat to shit by mollies and barbs because it's a chokehold, or do you want to go into a red door that you're gonna get beat to shit because it's super easy just to, like, shoot you through basically anything? And so,
Right.
I'm a big fan of like. I really like
Uh-huh.
2 red door maps. I don't like 1 red door maps. First off,
Mhm,
and so.
mhm.
Seeing this map, like, I give it like a 4 out of 10. There's nothing insanely bad, but it just feels bland, and it feels like there's a lot of lost potential, because I love kill houses,
All right.
you know?
Compelling analysis. Next map.
Zombie, why? You hurt me.
Yeah, it just
Fa-
needed more. It needed one more room to have the possibility space to actually be able to move the thing around.
We got a bank.
All right, it's bank time. All right,
So
Ooh.
thing.
I
What
gotta
are your
ask.
thoughts on this?
This is Ozymandias. Is this like an Aussie map?
No, his name is
Oh,
his name was in the generator before we knew him.
What the
that's
heck? Wait,
amazing.
what?
Like Ozymandias was in the names for the level generator that it could pick before we hired or even knew who Ozymandias the person was. Like,
Man, it's destiny. You're just fortune telling with map gen.
I mean, I suppose I'm still waiting on I have Bizarre and Adventure in there, and I'm still waiting to meet Jotaro one day.
So I'll change my name for you. Don't worry.
Awesome, thank you. It'll be Zombie Jotaro because he's dead
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Spoilers.
I
I've never seen. What's that?
okay. Yeah, everything's a JoJo reference.
Everything. All right. Anyway,
Everything.
moving on.
Okay. My only qualm with this map in reality is it's such a good double charge map because green kind of sucks. Like that's my only qualm because like the amount of times I've played in bathroom here and just destroyed whoever comes out of that bathroom vent with a tub is truly astonishing. And I feel like the reason I like Bank is because they make sense as a map. Like everything here makes a lot of sense to me in terms of its placement in like a real world situation. But like I don't know why the bathroom vent is frustrating to play against. At least as like for me, like as an attacker, I feel bathroom vents are frustrating, and as a defender, I love them. So I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about them at the end of the day.
Uh, Ultimately, what needed to happen is the green should have not been should have not have been where it was because you need to offer the green door needs the opportunity to be able to cover its own exit. Otherwise, you're just gonna suicide. And as an attacker, that feels terrible. Like if you're not able to get through the green door, it's a bad green door, and it's gonna be very frustrating for the attackers. So like. My job is to be able to make sure that the attackers can get into the building via the green door. And in this one, it's like, well, you can't really. So like from the man, I wish I could draw on this, but like from the vent that's not looking into bathroom, you
Hmm.
can't sit in there and cover bathroom effectively because there's that soda machine up there at the top. Like a dude could be hiding up there. They can also be sitting in security, fucking jiggle peeking you. Like there's not really a safe way, and you're pushing up through like multiple choke points. If you jump into you jump out into bathroom,
Hmm.
you're going into bathroom itself, then coming out of bathroom, then immediately swinging north into that hallway, and you guarantee you there's a barb there.
I will say though, I think one of my favorite like defenses on this map is 4-man entrance. So you do one left corner, one right corner, one at the top pillar and lobby, and one more in teller, and then
Yeah.
you just shoot them as attackers come in.
Yeah.
Donut?
This this map is great in the sense that I like a lot of the banks. I don't think there's been a really bad bank. I will say though that green is of course being pretty bad, and then manager's office is because I got this from Akazo, and he was like, manager's office seems kind of like you better make it to accounting, and if you don't, you're screwed. So
So this map could have been made better by moving the vent entrance system. So that big blob in the top right. Imagine there's a vent up there that goes from manager around accounting, around teller, and around vault. Move the vent system up there and drop people off inside manager, and that's your green door. And then move the manager red door down into hallway, and kind of shimmy the button over so it's somewhere in front of the loans area. And then I think that would have made the map less frustrating to play.
that would have been really fun. And you just stick cart in a hallway, and you just like you
Yeah,
fuck
so
them
the
up.
question becomes, well, do we want to try to push this very obvious long hallway where we know a cart or a mop is going to be, or do we take the long way around and try to challenge security to get in from the back? Like, I think that's how you could have improved. Like, you could have
Yeah.
improved this one.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I will say though that Vault, and just
Or
Bank
you
in
just
general has been very nice because you can open up Vault and just have crossfires if you want,
Yeah.
as it seems like GB did.
As an alternative, again, we're imagining that manager is now the green room. You take
Of course.
manager, then just immediately wall charge into loans. And then that's where
Ooh,
your
that
and
would
then
be
the buttons
cool.
is in front of loans, so it's like there's like it opens up a whole interesting set of plays that could have potentially happened,
Yeah.
but can't really happen now because of where green room is placed. So again, my make it better would have been drop people off in manager and then move the manager red door down into hallway, probably like right in the middle, like
Yeah,
right near
and
bathroom.
I mean that like so bathroom is basically a tiny little room. Why
It's
did
the
you
rat
choose
room.
it's the rat room? You choose it to make because it's a rat room. That's why.
There's
Yeah,
rats in the bathroom. That's a health code violation.
Got to shut
yeah,
down Bank.
like bathroom, I think is arguably like a very strong room. Because you basically always have to check it, and if you don't, you're exposing your back to it. So it's just like one of these rooms that if you're passing it in the hallway, like you absolutely have to check this thing because there could be a tub or there could be a tub or a knack in there, or worse, a fucking KR.
Man, you fucking put a auto shot in one of those bathrooms. I've tried to like use bathroom. It worked once, and that was against Bard in a test. And apparently, after I came out of the bathroom, like, because so if you haven't tested with Bard, it is the best experience you
He
will ever
yells a lot, and
have.
it's great.
He
He
yells a
does.
lot, and sometimes he like his webcam mic or a shitty mic is being used, and it gets so scuffed. And
It
it's
gets blown out.
perfect.
It's hilarious.
Like my favorite two moments in this game, by far, is being yelled at by the top of his lungs by Bard to open the vault or turn around.
Yeah, well, Donut, that's because you're oblivious as fuck.
But
I don't know. I
dude,
think
that was
my favorite
hilarious.
times are when he gets killed by grenades. He flips the fuck out, and it's hilarious.
I saw what they're used for.
And you use with Bard, and it's like, yeah, I'm also gonna use it to beat the shit out of you.
It's specifically stolen grenades. So like if
Yeah.
you're an attacker dying into a frag,
Oh,
he like always dies to frags. It's hilarious.
he's a frag magnet.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Everything. Oh man.
But I mean, going on to the next map, a lovely tired as fuck Roach here.
Yo, we got
He
a
showed us
dome.
Yeah,
dome.
here's our like 40 tile wide line of sight dome.
Yeah, shout out to Rezi for
Classic.
finding me this. He was like, he sent me this and he was like, why does beach and base go into jungle? This map is weird. And I was like, that's one way to put it. So, dome is been something. You said 40 tile wide dome. We've had
Yeah,
some domes that
this
stretch
thing
the
is
entirety
absurdly long.
of the map. And so, what are your thoughts on this one?
I do.
Hold on, I'm counting.
I do really quickly want to. So we, myself and some friends, we all named ourselves Jake, and I think this
That
will be
was
a
me.
video soon. Yeah, yeah. Well, you can play because you tried to play on a Mac with bad internet.
Shut up.
Um.
I watched.
Oh yeah, you did watch. So what we did, one of our favorite things I've ever done in this game is we like hid 5 people up in this this like northern jungle ruins, and when we heard someone walk in water, we 5 peeked with Grubers out of that window. And
Gruber
that was
ganged him.
yeah, exact dude. Gruber, best gun in the game, and we destroyed them, and it was a good feeling, even though I got TK'd on that round. But this map is this is why I like Dome, because you can do wonky shit like that, or hide in like like in those like plant circles. It's
Yep.
10 out of 10. It's a bad map because of the long sight lines. Because like, what the fuck are you gonna do besides win your fight?
Potentially like a 27 tile long line of sight, which is obnoxiously huge.
Because when this was being played, it was GB versus Yakuza, and they were like, go pit, and then the other one was go observation. And so I think it's fine if you go pit, but if you're like, let's say in casual and you're forced to go beach, as a defender, it's like, fuck, we really have to like now deal with black tars and sabers at this awful range, and
I still
vice
think
versa too.
beach like base needs to be a main room like jungle, and beach needs to be twice as long, so you actually spend more time trying to run up the beach Because that's kind of the fantasy, right? Is like you're storming the beaches of Normandy, but like right now you chuck one flash and you're up to the top of that beach in like 3 seconds, and it's not
So honestly, if the Allies had flashbangs, Normandy way fucking easier. Is all this has told me.
just fucking yeet that shit.
Yeah,
Just chuck it up the hill, put it in a t-shirt cannon and fire it at the pillboxes. It'll be fine.
That sounds. Can we get like a flashbang launcher? In real life, that's
Get
just
a
a
fucking
t-shirt cannon.
underbarrel, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I
a
know that
t-shirt
already
cannon.
exists probably, but.
I mean,
Please,
underbarrel grenade
please.
launcher exists. Come on, man.
Oh yeah, but I mean just like a flashbang grenade launcher. But
Yeah.
going
Oh.
into a
Oh,
C
wait,
store.
Are we
Oh,
moving to the
that's
C store?
Yeah, let's move to the C
Let's move
store.
to the C store.
Because I don't want to talk about the dick log that I see on like literally every fucking dome map ever.
Do you like the fucking dick log one where it's like it's not the dick log, but it's like the two rocks in the tree?
Yeah, I love that stuff. That and the parkour possibilities, and I know Zach's gonna hate that, but I love the parkour possibilities on Dome. I really do.
I hate 'em.
It's my favorite thing. I like climbing on stuff.
I
You
know
know,
everybody
Yeah.
likes climbing on
I'm a
stuff.
kind of like Ted Kaczynski, Return to Monkey.
Oh no.
um, Okay, I got a bone to pick with the C store because I want more drop-ins. Like I feel like whenever I drop in like into like a skylight, I feel like those Batman scenes where he like just comes through a window and he's
Yeah.
like that's what it makes me feel like, and I need more of that in my life. I'm gonna be real
Yeah.
Where
with
did
you,
they
Axsom.
go? They were so fun.
I mean, they're still there. Like, I still think if we're gonna have a dedicated, like glass entryway in the roof, we need to design the room around it. Because right now it just kind of gets chucked onto random rooms, and it ends up being really awkward for Sandwich and I to like make a map around when it pops up. Half the time we just delete it.
When are we gonna get skylight entries on Bank?
Probably
That would be
never.
so.
That would be cool,
so
though.
cool.
I mean, technically, you could already do it. If we let you on the roof, you could, like, the big, if you look up, right, when you go on entryway, there's that, like, big, like, rotunda fucking thing or whatever you call it up there. Like, you could jump through that.
Yeah.
Like, if you could get up on the roof, you could jump in through that thing.
That would be really
Yeah.
fun
This
if you just
storefront's
as
weird
a
as hell.
one-off.
Like, it's got, like, south-facing windows when, like, me knowing how the wrapper works, like, so again, I wish I could draw here. There's the south wall, but then there's those like two little walls to the right before fridges, and then there's the four walls to the left. Like all of those should be shutters. So like they got changed to be walls, and I'm like,
No, they shouldn't be shutters.
I'm saying at a generational standpoint, that's what
Yeah,
level
they are.
10 would have done, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, these got changed.
yeah, that should not be, because then just like C store Waltard C store is already strong as
That's already
fuck.
a meme. Like, okay, I got a bone to pick. I'm on my little soapbox. Like,
Thank you
yeah,
for
I know you fixed this recently, and I've praised you, but for a solid like couple months, there was just
a
you
year.
put a year.
It was like
You
the
put
year of
bomb in
just, hey,
C
it's
store
all we're doing is bombing C
storefront,
store.
and like,
That's all I could talk about was, oh, storefront bomb. What are you
oh
gonna
yeah,
do? Wall charge.
the meta evolved around to where just give up the bombs in storefront. And so I really kind of want to get your thoughts on that entire, I would say, era of C store.
I mean, I hated it. It was way too easy to get to bomb. Like, we already knew that it was strong, but we didn't know how to deal with it. Like, we tried putting more shit in storefront. Like, you look at this map, and it very clearly has a whole bunch of shit in a choke point, but it doesn't fucking matter. Because the bomb is right there, and that's what, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles, six squares away from there to get to bomb. What do you think they're gonna fucking do? They're gonna wall charge, throw a frag, then like 6 flashbangs, and they're gonna be in. Doesn't even matter if there's places they can get shot from. They don't care. Now you're on bomb.
Man, there was some storefronts, like back in when they first started popping up, that the bomb was facing towards the storefront of the shutters.
Oh no.
Pain.
And And
Oh,
so like
dang.
they weren't even like this ones was like, okay, you can hold it from tellers, you can hold it from fridges, you know, or you can play from. It was just like it was a bomb in the middle of storefront, no cover, and the bomb was facing the shutters. And I remember I was casting a game like that. It was my second ever cast, and I saw this and I was like, what the fuck is this doing here? Like, and I didn't say that because I wouldn't want to swear on stream, but holy shit, dude.
I think my favorite C-Store map that I made was a really, 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 really long time ago. And it was the, so you know the like really tall, almost like S-shaped storefront where it's like a straight line, then it shifts over a little bit, and then it goes up even further. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think we have
Yeah,
an
so
idea.
what I did is I put, this is, I'm going to reiterate, this was an extremely long time ago. So what I did is I put tellers and island tellers in the bottom left by the shutters, and I put a lacrosse in it, like a free lacrosse under the counter in there, and the shutters would, or the island teller would overlook bomb that could also be covered by other places in the level. But what wound up happening, as soon as people discovered that there was a lacrosse in there, the attackers would wall charge storefront, not to get to bomb, which was all the way at the top of the little S, you know, that room. They would get in there to get the lacrosse because it was so powerful for them.
so you're the reason God has forsaken us.
I mean, maybe.
No, that's absolutely the reason. He has abandoned us, and you caused it with that.
What did I do? Just the lack of guns spawning in levels? Because that
Yeah.
wasn't me. That was the networking refactor.
No, I'm just saying. Like, no, I'm saying guns spawning in levels. That sounds horrible.
No, that was actually a lot of fun. C stores used to have tubs and pistols
But the
under the tellers.
but the economy,
Who,
Axsom.
who gives a shit? It's a tub.
The economy. You can't be giving people free shit. Not in this economy.
Who
You
gives
can't
a
be
shit?
doing that.
We don't even give you a full
You,
set of ammo. You get like
you,
one spare mag and
you
like 3
liberal.
shotgun shells.
You liberal. You can't be doing that.
I'm gonna fuck with that
I,
economy.
I will say I will say
You're
one of
gonna
the
bring it back out of
weirdest.
sight now. It's big brain in it.
I've hid mops in levels and nobody's found them. I remember
Because,
I hid
like-
one. I remember I hid one on stream, but because you guys knew where it was, I had to put it in the rafters.
I remember, you know, I don't remember, but I've heard stories of you hiding like guns into the lockers that when destruction was in, you could shoot open.
Oh yeah, I hid mops
You
in
know?
there. There was a, I did it on one of the, I think it was Youngsters Make a Map. I hid a mop in the lockers behind club, and I told him about it, but I didn't tell anybody else. Of course, people figured out that there was something going on when there were 2 mops on the field.
Just imagine you're a new player, you join in, and you first like first 10, 15 games, and you learn, that's one mop. I should be worried, you know? You kill the mop player, you grab it, and then they bring out a second mop, and you're just like, what
You
the
killed one mop, yes, but what about second mop?
Yeah, what about the second one? They would go to the reports immediately. Holy shit.
Somebody's hacking, or there's an admin abuse going on, and by admin abuse, I mean Axsom abuse.
Axsom abuse.
There is an Easter egg in an existing map right now that nobody's found yet, so good luck.
Oh yeah.
What kind of map is it?
Not gonna tell you.
I think it's one of the kill houses, but
It ruins the fun. Cargo hold.
oh, factories. This is
Okay,
So-
this is this is my problem. Why is the office made out of shipping containers?
Why not?
But why?
it's
Well, why
cost
not?
effective.
It's cost
It's-
cost effective.
Who cares about being cost effective? Your office is made out of a shipping container.
Who
That's-
cares?
That's nasty.
Who cares?
Okay, there are people who live in
Dude,
shipping containers.
have
Zombie.
you
They like,
seen
make a house
Toxic?
out of them.
That's fine, but see, my problem is in this future. I know that people have just like they have stuffed these shipping containers like with just degenerate like body pillows and stuff, and that's what they use to build this office to keep it cost effective.
Hold on, I gotta go get my. Hold on, I gotta write that down as a notepad.
No!
Hold on, I can make
No.
make a Hegao body pillows to put in factory trailers. Okay.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Why did you do this?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Honestly,
I just want. All I really want in life is taking us out of factory for a second. I really want the ability to do. You know how in like big convenience stores or grocery stores, how you have the like big stacks of like Coke and Pepsi boxes and other soda, and it's like a big Donkey Kong or something. You know what I'm talking about? I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
be able to do that in fucking C store and like make a big Snarms or something.
Bigger
Yo.
big stars. That
Can
would
you
be
make it
sick.
like okay? Is it just gonna be
Can you
stones?
make
Or
it
is it gonna be like the
like
snitties?
destructible though?
My God, I
Oh,
wish.
God, that would be sick.
a
Also,
giant snurms.
this map's fine. Donut made us. Okay, Donut made a map. I want everyone
Okay,
to
we're
know.
doing that one. Okay, okay, we'll go to
Are
that
we
one.
doing his? Because I vetoed that this
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah,
No. This is the updated version.
how bad
This
it is.
This map is
This
great.
Look, so originally that red door in storage used to be directly east from bomb on that same walkway.
It was balanced.
It was not balanced. Donut, you don't know the first thing about playing this game.
What's the point of the? Okay, never mind. Like
All right.
I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the catwalks around bomb, and I'm like, okay, there's the pillars to the top right, but then like the catwalks just terminate into the wall
So
on the
they can
right hand
check
side. I'm
on
like,
like
It goes into a
no,
wall.
it's so they can check on like the giant silos if they're malfunctioning.
So they can check on the wall?
No, okay.
man, this
there
is
are
a
some
really
catwalks
interesting
that
wall,
don't
Donut.
go.
Oh,
No,
well,
okay, no,
then the
no,
wall seems to be doing just fine. Also, why do you have a catwalk that goes into your window?
I mean, I don't know if you need to like get to office easily or check the pipes.
Through the glass window,
It
Donut?
does not go through the glass. It does
Man,
not go
people
through the
said
glass
my
window.
factories didn't make sense.
Okay, I will. Okay, let me go through my thought process of making this map. No,
How much G fuel did you fucking down before this? Like,
zombie. Be
was this
quiet.
just like an absolute
So-
schizo rage of a just fucking map? And then look, there's a staircase on dock in front of an offload. That's got to be a safety violation. Like,
It's fine.
Look, man. If I make a factory map,
fan,
if I make a factory map and it doesn't have at least 5 OSHA violations, why the fuck did I make
Exactly.
that map?
Thank you.
no.
Thank you.
See that
Thank
makes
you.
sense. But like those OSHA violations are like, oh, we're trying to make workflow more productive. This is just like, oh, we have no fucking clue what we're doing. And we
Well,
just
okay,
have to kill
let
This
me
is
go
like, you know
through
how
my
in big
process.
cities, big cities they have the like the spikes and shit to keep homeless from sleeping here? That's like, I think they call it aggressive architecture, something like that. This is aggressive architecture.
Oh, this
This
isn't
is just
even
like
this
here
isn't
to
even
actively
aggressive
make
architecture.
this is
This
just
is
here to
really-
actively make the workers' day worse. And just
It's
Yes.
get in
malicious.
their way. Yeah,
architecture,
malicious
like,
architecture. There we go.
If we keep the workers unsafe and on edge and like they can't sleep, they can't think about being unhappy.
They can't think about unionizing if we're too busy focusing on keeping themselves alive.
All right, let me go through my thought process of making
There
this map.
was no thought
No,
process.
there is. Zombie, shut the fuck up. Okay, so
Dude.
when I started getting more into this community, a bit like I started. So basically, I was like,
people were getting into
fuck, shut
community.
up. So basically, I was like, pillbox was like that very much interested me, And for like 2 weeks,
There's no
I was
pillbox in
annoying
this.
about it. No, let me finish.
You
Let me
have to hear this 'cause
Let
it's
me finish.
fucking ridiculous.
So basically, I was
It's
like,
uh,
man, I want a map with multiple pillboxes. Pill house. So it's a kill house full of pillboxes.
God, I hate
And
you so
when
much.
I was able to get the idea for the chance to do a making map, I asked Sanders to his face, how many pillboxes can I put in a kill house? He was like, no more than one. And immediately I'm like, my dreams are shattered. I don't know what to do.
Your dreams
so-
are shit.
Hey, to be
Yes,
fair, you
and
could have
so-
done 2.
I was not told that. And I would have wanted to do like 5. Okay.
You would do
So
one you do one at the beginning and one at the end, and that's what you could have done.
You could have
Alright.
prevented this monstrosity from having.
All
I
right,
mean,
all
hey,
right, all right.
he chose sandwich. He could have picked me, and I would have done that.
I'll pick you if I ever get to make a map, Axsom. That's what I'm
Okay.
gonna do.
Okay.
All right. So, I'm like, what's like a good, what's a thing that like I would enjoy? Verticality, factory, and then I was sitting in one of
just
like
an
the
excuse for
servers
why you're
with
gonna lose
zombie,
rounds.
with like zombie and like Rev and Rezi and Mackie and Barry and all the like the fucking memers and like the great guys, and immediately I'm like, I know what I want to do. Walkways. I like catwalks. I like when they're inputted. Let's just make a map full of walkways. And so I did. Okay? And I was like, put one there, put one there, put one there. And I send this to Sandwich. No, I before I send it to Sandwich, I'm like, I tell Rezi like, this map is dog shit, I hate you. I tell Red is like, this map is dog shit, I hate you. I tell Derby, same thing. I tell like 40 different people this, and they're all like, this map is awful. What are you doing? And I'm like, okay, they're just haters. They didn't know. And I still
They're
have
just
the belief. I still have the belief that the DPL Make map was one of the best maps, and that everyone who hated it was just bad at the game. But let me continue.
You're bad at the game.
Shut up. Let me continue. So, I sit down with Sandwich, and Sandwich tells me to my face, man, this is dog shit. This is not fun. And I'm like, I've been hearing this a lot, but I guess, and he was like, if you enjoy it, we can make it and we'll ship it. And I'm just like, you know what, let's do some fixes, because he was pointing out some other issues. I'm like, okay. And so, we change some stuff. We make it so that, there's a power and storage on the first floor. Let me finish.
I told you to change that.
Okay, and we put like a red door in storage. We make a little walkway. We make it so it's easier to take green. We make office a bit like simpler. We simplify the map, a little bit, and we make it so there's not a little rat spot under the walkways in in the bottom right of that little corner. And so it's fixed. It gets sent out. Okay, actually, before it gets sent, I show this to everyone, and they're like, "It's still dog shit, but it's playable, I guess." And I'm like, "Okay, we're good. It's playable. Send it out." And I have this belief that, when someone complains about this map and they go into level feedback and they're like, "Oh, Axsom, I'll sandwich you dog," I will fight to my last breath to say that like this map is amazing, that this map is great, that it is a skill issue.
It's actively toxic to new players.
Let's be real, Doughnut. This map is basically just like you're at the bar, you haven't talked to anybody all night, you're getting a little drunk, you're just settling at this point. Like this is the person who you're not going to tell anybody that you hooked up with, you're not going to want to think about ever again. But you're like, you know what? It's not as bad as the like fucking elephant who hit on me before this, so I'm gonna settle. Like that's all this map is.
Good lord.
That's what this is. Like that's what everyone's reaction was just like, it's trash, but it's not as bad as it was.
Exactly. I'm giving you guys an out here. Okay, I'm helping you.
I don't know about that. Like
this map. Okay, so I have defended my point. I think that this map is great, and there's nothing that you zombie can do to stop it. Axsom can stop it with the flick. He already stopped the fucked. You vetoed the fucked version. You haven't seen the new version, and we may have to do some changes, and it won't be to the glorious design that I have. But we
so
can
like
fix
a lot of these, like a lot of just looking at this is one, it's actively talking to new players because I can't tell if you can go under the catwalks or not from the screenshot. So like that's already like a big huge strike in my book. The other thing is there's a lot of redundancies and there's no real like God, like positioning doesn't matter because you can get anywhere, right? Like what I would have done, like why bother having a catwalk that leads back into office when you could just go through office and make that a choice? Because right now you go into office from that left green door and you can go south onto the catwalks. Okay, cool. And then you just double back around and hit the other side of office. Like what? Then
That's
why?
a wall.
Yeah, there's
And
a wall.
I know, but you can still go around and then hop back up into it from the other side, from the window side. Like
okay,
that's actually like the end of the pipework, so it's like a wall. It's solid, so it's just a little rat corner.
I gotta know, Axsom, is Donuts gonna be your first ever blacklisted map maker now?
No, like
Oh, you should.
if they fix the issues that Ozzy outlined and figure out like why this thing baked in properly or just it's
like
missing stuff,
24,000 of them.
They can put it in. Excuse me, the term used was gajillion.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was trying to be respectful to Donut and his dignity. I made a mistake.
This map is great, and no one can
it'll go in, right? Like I'm not gonna as long as this thing is actually playable and there's not very clearly stuff missing. It'll go in, but it probably won't stay in for long if we're getting complaints. Like I said, this is pretty this is actively toxic to new players, which is kind of a frown for me. Like I don't like that. This is why you don't see a lot of over unders in factory because you're skirting the line of 2-floor here because I know that you can walk around under all of those catwalks, but a new player might not be able to tell that. It's like, well, if I fall on the floor, am I stuck in this little Tetris piece L fucking hellscape, or can I actually run around under here? Like all of that's armored too, so it's like it's just gonna be really fucking hard to get attackers off of this thing.
Well, no, like so. In the updated version that you
You've
didn't get,
lost.
let me finish.
You've
Let me finish.
lost, Donut.
I'm not. Let me explain myself. In the updated version, we took apart the armored, sides, and so it's kind of like a transparent side that you can shoot through. So if you're up on the catwalks, you can get shot easily. You know. The
Yeah,
snap
because
is
the
great.
screenshots I had, everything was armored, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
yo,
I'll be honest.
this is mega cancer.
You Donut. At this point, you're just a like schizophrenic relative at Thanksgiving who is just going off about lizard people and the government right now. Like
This
that's
map is
that's all
good.
this
This
is.
map is good. It
Okay.
introduces something not needed. Okay, not seen before.
It's good because it gives you something you don't want. That's why it's good.
No, I like this. I like this. I like this. I don't want to hear. My
I
making map.
understand. I understand you
My
like
making
it.
map.
I want you to feel bad about it.
Like Kalinator had to make a map, and
I
it had
want-
3 fans. Are we not going to talk about that?
That's better.
I mean,
than
the rest of the map was playable though. It wasn't like actively toxic to new people. Like you could at least understand it. There wasn't like a bajillion catwalks going. Wait, what floor is this on right now? Like,
Dude,
I
this map is good because it gives you
In
cancer,
game,
and
it
then you
sounds
never have to play it again.
so
Like
like
you control.
like a bigger change that I would do to this is make the bomb area bigger and make it have an entrance that comes in from another direction. Because right now it all kind of comes down to that one little like 4-way cross right there.
Okay.
But like if you put an entrance coming in from like the left or maybe yeah, specifically from the left, you have it coming from that side. At least you give like the other angles of attack. Because like why be on the left side of the map when
I'm learning.
the only way
I get it.
the only way to defend the bombs from the right hand side on top when you're on top of the catwalks. So like arguably probably one of the stronger parts on the map is actually the bottom right in that little uh toxic ditch area thing with the boxes. Like that's
Yes.
the area you need to clear.
Or you just watch it from fan.
I mean, you can't hit you. Yeah, if you have somebody in fan, you can watch it, but like that's one of the stronger spots to play in.
Oh, for sure. I
Because you
think
would you would sit there and watch fan the entire game until you headshot the saber that reveals himself, and then after that you just stare at bomb all game.
I will say I feel like this map, like if this map, like one of my favorite maps of all time is Oops All Toxic.
Yeah, I've done 2 or 3 of those at this
Yeah,
point.
those are. I still fondly remember those.
I wish I kept.
feel
Those are so good. They were
I wish
so
I
good.
kept my original inspiration for Oops All Toxic, but it is lost to time. There's a
Yeah.
map called Giant Dream. Have you seen the like? We haven't used them recently, but do you know the big like spinner, the toxic goo tanks that like have the spinner in it, and it kind of mixes.
Yeah, I remember those.
I took one of those and made them 5 times as large, and then made a level around it. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, sorry for interrupting.
No, it's
It's
fine.
I know we've shat on your map here, but I think like at least what you're doing is you're trying to be creative, and creativity isn't always a good thing, and that's okay. Not all of us are meant to be artists.
Like
Okay.
I can imagine 2 things on this. One, there being some YouTube clickbait where there's like a big circle around the bomb with the arrow pointed to him with the title "Has Level Gen Gone Too Far?" And then
I should make that
the
video.
other thing I can imagine is Donut having to cast on this.
I would be so happy. I'd be like, yo, this is a great play from the defenders. This is an amazing play from the attackers. Both these teams are great. Or I'd be like, that's not how he's supposed to play this map. I'd pull like a fucking.
I would put out a thing where I just would refuse any caster to cast on this map. Like we're like, okay, we're not gonna cast this. It's just gonna be silent.
What you have to do is cut to the other team so you can hear their thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like cut to the attacking team or cut to the defending team and just listen to them.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
listen.
but okay. Well, I'll fix this map with sandwich. It will be
can't fix
better. Yes, no,
I
it
mean,
can
you
be
can.
fixed, but
No.
thank you, Axsom. No, Axsom just said it.
Like
Axsom,
it requires a
don't-
significant amount of effort, right? Like there needs like a lot of the redundancies need to be trimmed away. Positioning needs to be more obvious, and you don't have that right now. Like
You replace all the wood on a ship. Is it still the same ship? Like it's not gonna.
Are we
like,
ship
that's
Theseus
all this
here?
is
Like
this is just gonna be ship of Theseus. If you remove everything, is it still the same map?
I'm not saying you remove everything. Like the
I'm
concept
saying
can
you
remain
remove everything.
the concept can remain the same of okay, I want a bunch of catwalks everywhere, but you need to shave down and remove a lot of the redundancies and make positioning more obvious so teams can plan around this thing instead of just going like to me, this map is over the complexity threshold of planning. Like when people plan on this map, they're just going to be like, we're going to come in from this way and then shoot people, and that's going to be it.
All right, I'm taking some notes to go to Sandwich, and he'll be like, "I told you, dumbass." So we have one more map before we kind of close it up, and this is one of the more contentious maps.
Oh yeah,
The
oh yeah, this guy.
Breezeways.
It was one of these guys.
Oh, man. Breezeway, when it first came in, it wasn't loved, but it wasn't like despised by every single person. It was like,
Yes, it
all
was.
right. No, when they first came in with the internal breezeways, they were not a horrible. And there was not a lot of, there was some outlash, but there was not a lot of. Then the second time they come around, holy shit, were these bad. And I will say that to anyone's face.
Yeah, what the
So-
fuck is up with Breezeway, Axsom?
This is Bard's fever dream.
All right.
How many drugs did he do?
I have no idea, but
a
like,
lot, apparently.
I don't think Breezeway is inherently bad. It just does not. It's not set up in a way that is supported by how we want people to play the game. So what I mean by this is, like the game plays best when there's one green entry and two red entries. But in this map, there are what was this 5 green entries, two on each breezeway plus admissions, and that ain't exactly the best thing to play around, because all you do is stick a saber on either side of that breezeway and you now own the map. Like, just straight up. And everybody has to pile into office. Like, why would you play rooms other than, like, why would you play in lockers? Why would you play in admissions? Like, why? They're just gonna waltz right into office. It started off like Breezeway, I think, started off with good intentions, kind of like you said. When they first started coming in, they weren't universally loved, but it was like, hey, this is kind of interesting. Like, I might be able to get down with this. But then they evolved into kind of the thing that everybody hated, which was, oh, this is now just a 2 free entries in a divided map, and why would I ever play on that side? And that's what people didn't like, and that was the feedback you guys were giving back. But because of the way we had structured ourselves internally, Sandor and I didn't have the time allotted to us to go back, look at the feedback, and come up with solutions. So that's why it stayed that way for so long. Like
Mhm.
I remember when you guys were going ham in the level feedback, like I was making kill houses specifically that didn't have a breezeway in it, so you guys had something other than breezeway maps, because it was just breezeway after breezeway after breezeway. This map I think is redeemable by putting a fence around the north and south sides and then putting a brick wall between the 2 breezeways, and then I think it's
And
redeemable.
I think you added fences to a lot of the breezeways, which made them
Every single one has them.
pretty, like, not like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, but pretty good, and definitely not as worse as some of the older ones and especially not as bad as the one we see here. Because I think a big issue for me is when you as an attacking team are able to to gain access to the bomb room immediately, right off the bat. And that's what you need to, like, as an attacking team, you smoke the other entrance, or you use the saber, as you said.
Yeah, there was only
and you
one
just
play.
gain access
It
to bomb
was
room.
Yeah, it was
Or-
smoke the other side and run right in.
And like same thing with like some of the there are some this one storefront bomb was rampant. It was you used one charge and you got a free win. You
Well,
know,
this is worse than that. You just walked
yeah.
right in. You
And,
expend a
and this
smoke
is
and walk
worse
right
than
in.
this. And so there was
Exactly.
breezeway maps there was 2 green entrances. I remember this very vividly. There was there was the breezeway which went into bomb room, and then there was a green door entrance on the other side
Yeah, I remember that one.
of like the bomb room, and so you can get into access bomb with 2 green doors. And though the one red door was on the opposite breezeway side of the map,
Yeah.
and so it was hilariously bad. Holy shit! But
Yes.
they've definitely became a lot more redeemed, and you've definitely done a lot of good work to make them a lot better.
Yeah, so like again, I don't think the original concept of it was bad, which is I want a room that introduces a unique tactical challenge to a level. Breezeway accomplished this by splitting the level. but because it was a free entrance, it didn't get the because it was functionally a green door, 2 green doors, mind you. It just didn't play well with our game. If it was a team deathmatch, maybe it would have played better because you don't have to force people into bomb room. You're just playing seek and destroy, and it would become kind of a questionable entryway at that point. Like the breezeways we were playing on would have made better team deathmatch maps, but like with bomb being bomb, it's like okay, 90% of this map is now useless, and that's not fun to play around as a defender. It's an easy win for attackers and just hell to play as a defender. But like you take away that free entrance, and then it becomes a little more interesting because now a defender can potentially sit in, like, say, again, let's imagine that this is fenced off. We've rotated that kitchen red door to be on the north side, so it's not inside the breezeway. But breezeways are fenced off, and there's a brick wall through the middle. I think this becomes a way more interesting map because now you can't just stick a saber on the north or south side and deny rotates for the entire defending team. You have to pick a side. Otherwise, you're splitting your forces, and you've got 1-1 looking out, and now you potentially have a fucking 5v3 going on the inside. That's probably not going to end too well for the attackers.
Zombie, you have anything to say about breezeways?
I don't like breezeways. They make me sad.
Yeah. Yeah, Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's like breezeway. And also, like, they just. I don't like them, man. I just like they're fine when they're like contained. I think there was that one dark kill house that we had that I really enjoyed where
That was
you
amazing.
had the breezeway on the north side and it was fenced in. That's what breezeway should be. If you have more than one breezeway, I don't like it. Like this, like even if this was fenced in, the thing I don't like about this is of how much real estate that you can take control of with basically with these doors open. Like I feel like I don't like snipers on Kill House. I don't know what it is. I don't think they're fun. And when you have a breezeway that literally splits the map in half, it makes snipers too strong because I feel like in theory you can clear a lot of space and really basically fuck anybody who's trying to play east side and wants to rotate late. You just destroy them.
Yeah, so
Even if sorry.
one of the things no, it's okay. One of the things that I kind of noticed about like a lot of these complaints is that people feel like they can't rotate because of the way the map is structured. Like, there's no way for you to rotate from right to left here. Like, why would you even try? You're gonna get fucking blown away the instant you try and step outside from a saber a mile away. With a lot of the breezeways that started coming in with the Killhouse Night update, uh, what I did with the breezeway maps that I made is that the breezeways have this isn't a good example of what I tried to do. This was an LOL interior breezeway. I generated and laughed, and I'm like, I have to make this. The breezeway I think works best when it doesn't split the map in half. Kind of if you go back to the other map, it doesn't split the map perfectly in half. So there's a left and a right side. It works best when so imagine that south breezeway is actually lockers. Like that whole southern space is now lockers. So breezeway I think works better when there's the risky rotate for is there a sniper out there? But if we know there's a sniper out there, we can all like start in brick house and then safely retreat backwards through back into the bomb through lockers into office. You know what I mean? Like you have a
Yeah.
risky rotate and a safe rotate. Now the safe rotate might take longer, but it's there, and that's the whole point of it, is that you have a safe rotate and a risky rotate. If all you have is a risky rotate, it's going to be really frustrating because you're like, well, I want to get to where the fighting is happening, but I can't, and that's really frustrating. So like if you look at a lot of those Kill House Night maps, the breezeways are set up like that, where there is a northern breezeway that is a risky rotate, and then on the south it's all like a big club, blockers, whatever bullshit to get you around that.
Yeah, I do enjoy that. I feel like this map also could have been made better by having the bomb facing east side.
Maybe.
Just so then, like, I feel like a brick household then is not going to be what you want to do, but it's something that can happen as a very very last ditch. Oh fuck, everyone's
Well, I
dead.
mean, imagine another thing. Take the what is that pushed up against? Is that a set of desks? Yeah, take the
Yeah, it's
desks,
death.
pull them back, rotate the bomb 180 degrees so it's in line with the kitchen door. So now you can cover it from both kitchen and brick house.
Yeah.
Like maybe that would have made this better. I don't know, but at least it's better than waltz right into office, get behind bomb, and defuse. I know this map did get updated with
Yeah,
fences on the outside. Like
it's been
after I think
updated.
it was like a week, it got updated. I still think it would have been made better with a brick wall in the middle. That way, attackers have to choose which brickway to lock or choose which breezeway to lock down
Yeah.
instead of
Uh,
just going LOL. I'm gonna go sit north and just wait.
Yeah, you
I
should.
also really, really, really want to get rid of that stupid window on those double doors. Fuck that thing.
The window?
Relatable.
The double doors into Breezeway have a little window on it, and it's
Yep.
basically a pixel peak, and I hate it, and I want it to die.
I remember back when hypo was a thing, our strat was because what would happen is you could shoot out the windows. You could, if you with a GAT, put 5 rounds into each window, and because of the way
Yep, you just couldn't see through it.
yeah, you couldn't see through it. And the way the stickers worked is they would stay there. So if like for this, if those deaths were flat, which they're not in this particular map, but you can't really tell. If they were like if that was like a straight up table, you could actually play that as a head glitch because you can't see through it, but it takes no pen to go through.
Yep.
That's amazing. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I want those stupid windows to die, like
Yeah.
in a fire. What I wish we had is I wish we had a double door that didn't have windows, and then a double door that was all glass. So kind of like the glass door in Loans, kind of like that.
Yes. Okay. That'd be interesting. Well,
Yeah, here's actually a good example of what I'm
Ooh.
talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So like that southern breezeway is kind of the risky rotate to get from club into hallway, or you can go north through office and then through the north side of hallway. You can take a little bit of a longer run to get to where you need to go. This is kind of an example of like what I was trying to talk about. I liked yeah, this was one of mine. But then again, all the Kill House Night maps are mine. No, there were 2 that weren't, and then 18 of them were mine. But I like this one because like you could go into reception, like start fucking with people, and if you had to fall back, you could immediately fall back into a bar, like hiding behind the bar to shoot at them as they came in through the door.
Yeah.
I thought that. I don't know if y'all ever took advantage of that. I thought it was fun.
I mean, my favorite thing to do on the Kill House Night map for like hide behind like in that northern corner where the dummies were, I would spawn
Yep.
there with the Gerber SD and just like I would wait.
Oh, you
And
in the top wire to reception? That's
yeah,
awesome.
the very top part, and I would just wait because you can't. If you holster too, there's actually no light reflection off of your gun either. So
Oh,
you
that's
can just
sneaky.
stand there and become Viet Cong. You know.
the speaking dummy.
Yeah, the
Oh, no.
the cardboard dummies are speaking Krim. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
That's awesome. I didn't know y'all were doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I didn't.
was my favorite part. We would hard hold reception. It was unfortunate for the new players, but like if you did a cross where if you're in that northern corner behind the dummies, and also what would happen to be really dark is like right there next to the vending machine on that left side.
Yep.
If you sat there, you just had a crossfire on them.
Yep.
And we would sometimes put multiple people there, so one person would die, and they would go like, "Wait, what the fuck? I killed you!" And it's a different person.
Yeah,
You know?
this was a fun map for me to make because I wanted you to be able to hold bomb from club. And like when I saw the map gen, I was like, huh, brick house is kind of weird up here. What if I just made this a one-way exit straight onto bomb? So I did. I'm not sure if that red door in brick house ever got used though. But it was intended to be the like, okay, I just want to be able to get into hallway.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all the maps we have for you.
Cool.
So, and I think that's, if we want to get Roach to sleep because he is in Europe and he is probably dead right now. But,
Euro degenerate.
oh my gosh, Zombie. But if you have anything else to say to really to put on record or to us or to really anyone, now is the time to say it.
I sustain myself on your negative feedback. Please leave more negative feedback in the
Let's
level
go.
the level feedback channel because this is how I make the game better.
Axsom, I'm gonna send you a mug that just says feedback tears.
It's
Oh
just
my
yeah,
God.
it just says yeah, it's like DPL player tears.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be amazing.
It's just yeah, it's like I can picture it in my mind. It's just the DPL logo and it just says tears under the bottom of it. Like
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
instead of the clacker, it's a teardrop.
Yes. I think on that note, we are going to end the podcast. Thank you so much for coming, Axsom. It was
Hey,
had
thanks
a
for
pleasure
having me.
having you. Donut and his ship map can
Fuck you. That map is
never
great,
return.
and you will have to play it at
All right,
one
thank you
day.
so much. Good night.
Thank you to Roach for prodding. Appreciate it, Roach. Shout
Thanks,
out.
guys.